This is Jay Teaches Reading for All, Part 1B. And this is the part where you find out where you start the course. The course is actually in Part 2. Part 1 is a diagnostic part, and it will direct you to the lesson in Part 2 where you need to go. And sometimes, a lot of times, once you go into Part 2, you'll just stay there. Sometimes it'll be just for that lesson, and then you'll come back to Part 1, and you'll keep working in Part 1 until you find another lesson you need to check out. So here's how it works. You are going to have a list of words for your students that come from the lessons. And if the student misses more than one word, usually there are just 3, but sometimes there are more. But if the student misses more than one word, you need to go and check out that lesson in Part 2. The numbers will correspond. So if it's Lesson 5, you go to Lesson 5 in Part 2. I'll say this, which you need to know, teachers. In Part 2, I do a number of exercises. One exercise is I review the previous 2 lessons. I introduce new words. The students practice printing the word and then saying it just to sort of imprint that word on their mind more strongly. Then there's a spelling test. Then there's a true and false reading where the students have some sentences to read, and they will read them. They'll tell you whether the sentence is possible or impossible, true or false, and they'll give you the reason why. Now, teachers, you may not need your student to do all those exercises. I don't remember if I mentioned that printing is going to be one of the things the students will have access to in the first 25 lessons, because some will not know how to print. They haven't been taught. And teachers, you'll have, in some cases, a student that knows how to print. So you just skip that section. And you can just, use your mouse and click on that little dot at the bottom and just scroll over. You'll see the frames, and you'll get the knack of when I go from one thing to another, and then you can just stop where you need to stop. I would recommend that everybody does the true and false sentences. I think those are valuable for anyone doing a lesson. Okay, so here's how it works. The students are going to get some words from every lesson. If the student misses more than one, then teachers, you need to go to that lesson number in Part 2 and do the exercises that you think will be beneficial for your student. Now, when I read these, I'm going to pause just for a short time between words. And if you've got a student that, really is a pretty good reader, they may be able to say these words before I read them. However, most students will probably need more time. So teachers, what you do is you take you put your mouse on pause and take a snapshot of the page, and you'll be on, or should be on, full screen. And then the student can just take his or her time, and you can direct them to read the words to you. So that's how we'll proceed. And here we go with number 1. And students, you can try to say these before I do. But as I said, I think I'm going to be going too fast for most of you. and we'll find out. An, nan. Lesson 2. Ban, nab. Lesson 3. Can, cab, back. Lesson 4. Dad and Dan. Lesson 5. Ed, bed, end. Lesson 6. Fan, fad, fed. Lesson 7. Gag, gab, bag. Now, if I went too fast for the student, which I probably did for most students, teachers just take a snapshot of that page, have the student read these words to you, and in the future, if you do this, then you can just skip ahead. You don't have to listen to me read the words. You can just skip ahead to the next page and save some time. Okay, we're going to the next page. And lesson 8. Let's see if I've got all this in. Got to remember to make sure I've got this on screen. Lesson 8. Had, hand, hen. Lesson 9. If, big, dig. 10. Jab, jed, jiff. 11. Back, ken, kick. 12. Lad, fell, lick. 13. Man, men, Jim. 14. Mom, got, job, dog, hog, off. The reason we've got two sections here is because there are two sounds of the short O. Octopus, as in got, ostrich, as in dog. So students need to be aware of that. Now, if they missed more than one of these, go to lesson 14, part 2. Got to scroll, on my channel page. You got to go all the way down near the bottom and find lesson 14 and do that lesson, whatever exercises you need to do. All right, next page. "15, peck, pick, pop. 16, quack, quick, quell. 17, red, rod, rip. 18, sell, sock, miss, is, his, has. The reason we have two sections here is because S can sound like S, as in snake, miss, or it can sound like Z, as in zipper, is, and his. 19, tess, toss, tip. 20, nut, bus, bust. 22 or 21, van, vet, Vic. All right, next page. 22, wag, win, wet, 23. Axe, fox, rex. 24. Yam, yes, yip. 25. Zip, buzz, jazz. 26. Jets, pots, pups, pens, bugs, dogs. And we have two sections here again because S can sound like S or it can sound like Z, as in pens. 27. Let's, locks, cuts, begs, hums, wins. Next page. Lesson 28. Pats, Ricks, Pops, Dads, Moms, Buds. And these all have apostrophes, and I just want to check and see if that throws the student off. Apostrophes, in this case, show ownership. So if some gloves belong to Dad, they're Dad's gloves with the apostrophe. If some shoes belong to Pat, Pat's shoes with the apostrophe. Okay? 29. Bosses, bosses, foxes, foxes. In this lesson, students find out that when words end in S or X, and they have apostrophe S showing ownership, they sound exactly the same as if the word ended in ES, which is making it plural more than one. Lesson 30. Milk, bent, text. 31. Plus, Glenn, blot. 32. Brett, dress, trip. 33. Swim, stuck, strap. Next page. I think we got everything. 34, cane, maid, snake. 35, Pete, Eve, Steve. 36, time, quite, spine. 37, road, globe, note. 38, cute, use, Duke, Luke. The reason we have two sections is because U, long U, can sound like you as in cute or use, but it can also sound like oo as in Duke and Luke. We don't say Diuk or Liuk. So there's two different sounds for the long U. Students need to know that. Lesson 39. Store, blue, fire. Lesson 40. My, fly, sky, Jim, Lynn. The reason we have the two sections is Y at the end of a short word can sound like a long I, like sky, but Y can also sometimes sound like a short I. So Y, which is usually a consonant, sometimes is a vowel sound. So this is the long vowel sound with these three, short vowel sound short I vowel sound with these two, Jim and Lynn. Also, that G sounds like a J in this word and in the words that we're going to have in lesson 41. Jim, Gem, gin. All right. Lesson 42, mice, trace, price. Lesson 43, Anna, want, Brenda. 44, sun, some, from. 45, put, pull, full. 46, fill, phone, graph. 47, whiz, whale, why. 48, shut, crash, fish. 49, chet, chase, such, match, and Dutch. So, teachers, I messed up here because if you took a snapshot early on, you didn't get that word Dutch, which you can easily make up for the student and check the student on that pronunciation. Okay, now we've got 50, lesson 50. Ship, chip, shop, chop. 51. Thin, thick, that, then. We have two separate sections here because TH can be unvoiced and just kind of be a breath of air like thin, or it can be voiced and have a vibration to it like that. 52, math, match, mash. 53, thank, ink, skunk. 54, wing, song, lung. 55, setting, cutting, stopping. 56, using, smoking, banging. 57. Let's make sure I've got everything on here. I think I do. Our teacher's taking a snapshot. 57, ringing, bringing, swinging. 58, main, rail, bait, say, play, hay. We got two separate sections because the long A sound, which is A, can be made by the AI combination like in main, or AY like in say. 59, male, male, sail, sail. 60. Feet, be, feel, mean, team, eat. Tummy, peppy, Sally, he, we, she. There are 4 different sections here because double E makes the long E sound, like in B. EA together, usually, not always, makes the long E sound, like in eat. A Y at the end of a longer word makes the long E sound, like in tummy or Sally. And E at the end of a very short word makes the long E sound as well. He, we, she. 61. See, see. Meet, meet. 62. High, right, night. Buy, cry, try. 63. Goat, soap, oak, blow, snow, row, so, no, go. We've got 3 different sections because the long O sound can be formed with an OA combination, as in goat, or sometimes with an OW combination, like in blow. And if O is at the end of a very short word, it can also sound like a long O. So, no, go. '64. Road, road. Moat, moat. Toe, toe. Mow, mow. So we've got a couple different sections here because the long O sound can be formed with an OA, as we've said. It can be formed if there's a silent E at the end of a word with O in it, like in road. And it can be formed if, well, this is the same thing, really. And OW we've already talked about. O in toe. 65. Moon, pool, bloom, blue, drew. 2 separate sections because the long U sound oo can be formed with 2 O's together or an EW. 66. Do, do, do. 2, 2, 2. 67. Very, does, said, could, any. And this is a tough one because these are elephant words. And I forgot to turn off my phone, which means they don't follow the regular phonetic rules. And so it might be a good idea, even if the students got these right and get the ones right on the next line, even if they did, it would be a good idea to check lessons 67 and 68 out just to see if the students can read all those words. And probably they'll have trouble with some of them. And you can go over that at a separate time over the next 2 or 3 days. Don't think that you have to have mastery on that, because as they do independent reading, they'll come across these words again and again. They'll learn them just in the natural process of reading. But it's still good to have them exposed. So 68, 1, 8, orange, again, half, 69, out, loud, ouch, brown, how, now. And there's 2 sections here because ow can be spelled with a combination of OU, like in out. It can also be spelled with an OW, and we said that OW could be O, but it can also be ow, like in brown or how. 70. Mouth, round, sound, owl, howl, growl. So just some more examples like we had in lesson 69. '71. Book, good, wool. 72. Head, bread, dead. Pear, bear. There's 2 sections here because EA, which usually makes the long E sound, can make the short E sound, like in head, head. It can also make the long A sound. EA can make the long A sound sometimes, not often. Pear, bear. 73. Mart, farm, star. 74. 4, corn, fork. 75. Her, stern, bird, girl, curl, burn. And there are 3 sections here because ER, IR, and UR very often make the sound. Same sound, different combination. 76. Bert, Bert. Fur, fur. 77. Runner, letter. Swimmer, rider, heater, colder. And there are 2 separate sections here because if you are building on a short word that's got a short vowel sound in it and you're adding an ending, you double the consonant, like in runner, you double the N. But if you've got a long vowel sound, you don't double the consonant. Like in rider, you don't double the D. Okay, last page. 78. Coin, boil, soil, boy, joy, toy. 79. Oh, mentioned in 78, we've got 2 sections because OI makes the oi sound, and usually, and OY usually makes the oi sound. 79. Paul, haul, fault, saw, paw, jaw. Two sections here because AU often makes the aw sound and AW often makes the aw sound as well. Lesson 80. Call, haul, ball, salt, walt, malt. We got two separate sections here because ALL often makes the all sound, and AL sometimes makes it, especially if it's followed by T, so it's alt when it's followed by T. 81. Apple, puddle, rattle. 82. Helped, slipped, mopped. 83. Filled, rubbed, cared, gained. 84. Added, patted, netted, rooted. I wonder how many students knew that the ED ending can make three different sounds. It can make a sound like a T in helped. It can make a D sound like a D in filled. And it can make an ud sound like an added. So three different sounds for the ED ending. Lots of students have trouble in school with that. And we're going to be encountering lots of unusual things in English, but English is 85% regular. That's why I teach English reading phonetically, because 85% of the time you can count on the rules and it's going to be helpful. So I'll be seeing you somewhere, probably in part 2. Those students who just zip through all this, they should go to part 2, lesson 85. That's the lesson that teaches longer words and how to break them down into syllables so they can be decoded. And if they know how to do that, wow, they're really on their way to being an independent reader. The lessons from 85 all the way to 100 have to do with words that are unusual. They don't follow the regular phonetic rules, but they're words that are used pretty often. So students need to be exposed to them. And lesson 100 is how to use the dictionary. So hopefully this course is going to be fun, fun, fun. It is fun for me. And we'll see you in one lesson or the other. Bye for now.